Every once in a while, you see a debate that's not just a debate. It's something bigger, a symbol for a way deeper conflict. And that's exactly what we have here. We're going to break down the face-off between physicists Sean Carroll and Eric Weinstein. Because this thing, it went way beyond physics. This was about who gets to decide what's even considered knowledge.
So to really get what's going on, you have to see these two guys as more than just people. They're like archetypes, right? You've got Sean Carroll. He's the insider, the respected academic, the guy who represents the whole scientific establishment. And then you've got Eric Weinstein, the outsider. He's the one challenging that very system, saying, hey, maybe this whole thing has gone stale. This isn't just Carroll versus Weinstein. It's the classic story, the guardian of the old ways versus the one trying to tear them down.
And this whole thing just blew up. I mean, it started out as this super niche chat about theoretical physics on, of all places, Piers Morgan's show. But wow, it escalated fast. You could feel the tension through the screen. It was obvious right away this wasn't going to be some polite ivory tower debate. No, this was a raw, primal fight over who was in charge. And it was all happening live for the whole world to see.
And you know what? The setting was everything. A TV studio is not some quiet university classroom. It's a coliseum for the modern age. You put those bright lights on and everything changes. On one side, you had Carroll's cool, calm confidence. That's the voice of the institution. And on the other, Weinstein's raw, almost desperate frustration, the voice of the outsider. It was pure spectacle.
But look, this wasn't just about two personalities clashing. It was way deeper. It was about philosophy. So let's really get into it and break down what these two totally different worldviews are all about. We're talking about something that goes way beyond a single theory. This is about how science itself is supposed to work. It's the establishment versus the revolutionary.
Okay, and right here, the difference between them becomes crystal clear. For Carroll, it's all about the system. Authority comes from the scientific establishment. The way you prove your ideas is through peer review and publishing in journals. Institutions are a must. For Weinstein, though, no way. He thinks true authority comes from the breakthrough idea itself. And sometimes, you have to directly attack the system to get it heard, especially if you think that system is broken. And what's so interesting is, both sides kind of have a point, right? This tension has been around for as long as science has been a thing.
You know how in every big argument, there's that one moment, that one line where everything just crystallizes? Well, in this debate, that moment came down to a single, nerdy piece of physics jargon that was used like a weapon.
So what was it? What was that one line that turned a tense debate into an all-out war for who even gets to be taken seriously? This was it. Sean Carroll looks over, talking about Weinstein's theory, and just says, it doesn't even have a Lagrangian. Seems simple, right? Just some technical term. But wow, the impact of that one sentence was absolutely explosive. See, to most of us watching, Lagrangian is just jargon. It goes right over our heads. But to the world of physics, oh, that was a kill shot. It was like saying Weinstein's theory had a basic fundamental flaw, like a professional baker forgetting to add flour. And just like that, poof, the debate wasn't about math anymore. It was about who belongs at the table and who doesn't.
And that one comment just blew the doors wide open to a much, much bigger conversation. A conversation about the whole system of science. It really made people ask a pretty uncomfortable question. Has modern science become a new kind of gatekeeper? Is it starting to look a lot like old systems that used to control who gets access to knowledge?
And that's where this really powerful metaphor started catching fire online. This idea of modern science as a sort of new priesthood. Now, obviously, it's not literal, it's a metaphor, but it taps into this feeling a lot of people have, that knowledge is being hoarded by a tiny group, locked away behind expensive paywalls, and given the stamp of approval by these anonymous, shadowy figures.
And this comparison makes it really clear. Back in the day, you had the medieval scribe who decided who could read and write. Today, you have the anonymous peer reviewer who decides which scientific ideas get published. Now, the goal is to make sure the science is good, right? To ensure rigor. But if you're an outsider, it can feel like you're just banging your head against a brick wall you can't even see. And this whole debate really hit a nerve, tapping into all these very real frustrations people have with the peer review system. I mean, think about it. It's anonymous, it's painfully slow, the quality of the reviews can be all over the place. Sometimes it feels more about politics and rivalries than science. And the biggest thing, the public has zero visibility into how it works. In a world that wants transparency for everything, this closed-off, opaque process just feels ancient. Which brings us to the final and maybe most important piece of the puzzle. Us, the audience.
See, the public isn't just sitting on the sidelines anymore. The internet has completely rewritten the rules of the game. It's changed who gets to speak, and it's the reason why these kinds of showdowns are happening way more often and with way more intensity.
I mean, just look at where ideas live now. It's not just in some dusty old academic journal. Big debates happen on YouTube. People's commentary explodes all over social media. You have these multi-hour deep dives on podcasts. Ideas are being thrown out there and tested in this massive, chaotic public arena. And it's all happening at a speed the old system just can't keep up with.
So here's the bottom line. The old gatekeepers are losing their grip. They don't control all the gates anymore. The audience is right there in the arena with them, watching every move and demanding a kind of transparency that these old-school institutions were never, ever built for.
And all of this gave rise to a perfect term for what we're talking about: cloistered gatekeepers. It perfectly describes these closed-off, insulated groups that control access to information, totally disconnected from what the public thinks or sees.
And really, that's the big takeaway from this whole Carroll Weinstein thing. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if you're on Team Carroll or Team Weinstein. What matters is what their fight showed us all. People are demanding openness. The era of these shadow priests and cloistered gatekeepers controlling knowledge, yeah, that's ending.
So that leaves us with a huge, huge question for our time. The arena is totally open now. Anyone can step in. But in this new, messy, wide-open world, who's the referee? Who gets to be the judge? That's the conversation this whole thing forced into the open.